Hey, Kiss Army, it's Bruce Kulick, my beautiful silent guitar. And you're listening to the Kiss Army Nation podcast. They're incredible, so crank it up with them.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 59 of the Kiss Army Nation podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Pasquale Veri.
And I am Claudio Spera. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Okay, so the question is, why doesn't Kiss release any new music? And really, that's the question on every Kiss fan's mind and a topic of conversation on so many podcasts out there. Now, in this episode, we're not going to beat this topic to death. We'll talk about it a little bit, but not much. It's been discussed so many times. Mm-hmm. What we will do, though, is look back at both Sonic Boom and Monster, and then, and this is the part I can't wait for, we're going to come up with our own new Kiss Dream album using already existing demos.
That's a tough one. So, and we're glad to be joined by Craig Patton and Patrick De Montigny in this discussion. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to see you
again.
Thank
you so much.
And like we've been doing lately on our discussion panel episodes, we want to start with an off-the-topic question. So, what are your thoughts about the recent announcement of a Creatures of the Night box set? So what are your expectations of that beauty? Craig?
Well, listen, it's one of my favorite albums. Definitely one of my top threes. Was excited to hear about it. I really hope there's a lot of leftover footage or not footage, but extra songs and a nice packaging, just like they did with Destroyer. Would be nice if they put the DVD maybe of Brazil in there. That kind of, works into that. So really looking forward to it. Picture disc maybe or such. It looks really like a interesting package.
Pat?
Yeah, I was very excited when they first announced it because I was happy with the Destroyer box set. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. They did everything right about this one, but there was already like a re-release with Resurrected and so to go in another direction and use an album that didn't do that well, that became like a cult favorite, is something that I'm really excited about, especially since it was the first time I saw the band live, the first tour. So it's like, it holds a special place in my heart. So I'm really, really looking forward to that, actually. Very excited.
Okay. What about you, Pas?
That was an era for me that I really regret because, again, I remember talking about this in a previous episode. Kiss came to Montreal for the Creature show, and I didn't go to the show. So, it's great to get anything from Creatures, Mm-hmm. And with the release of this box set, I got really excited upon hearing about it. And I do expect it to be very similar to Destroyer with all the contents and all the stuff that came with it. I just hope they add a DVD as well. Or a Blu-ray as well as some kind of a concert. I don't know about Brazil because I heard that Brazil, they don't have an actual full show of that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but something from that era. And I'm also hoping, obviously, for the vinyl, a black vinyl, a colored vinyl. I'm sure they're going to sell that separately. But I also agree with Pat. Personally, I'm more excited about this one than Destroyer because I've heard Destroyer 1,000 times in every variation. A lot of the bootlegs and the demos. Like I've heard them all, but this one, not so much. So it truly will be something new for me and discovering something new. So definitely very excited about it.
There you go. Well, same here. And it's funny because sometimes we say that this is an off-the-topic question, but I think it's somehow related to what we're discussing because we're talking demos, and I'm wondering, how many songs they have in the vault, the band of that era, because there are some list of demos, flying around in the internet, and you don't find so many of 82 and 81. But and also I'm really excited, don't get me wrong, so I can't wait to have it in my hands. But I'm wondering also, given that this was kind of a transition period for Kiss, with Ace leaving and Vinny deeply involved in the recording, I'm wondering how they're gonna come up with material. So are they gonna include more Vinny than Ace? That's something that strikes me, how they're gonna manage that. So what do you guys think about that?
I remember years ago at Rock on Stock, we were selling bootlegs, and I found a Vinnie Vincent song, Back on the Streets.
Yeah.
Loved that song. And wasn't he writing that song for Creatures and for some reason didn't make it on the album?
Yeah.
I think he brought it on the table, and there's a rumor that Paul sang it.
Right.
So I don't know if he wrote it specifically for Creatures, but I think it was brought to the table.
Okay. So anything they bring to the table would be great to hear.
Yeah.
Give us an idea what the album could have been.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But again, not to be a bummer here, but I'm thinking, given the experience that the band had with Vinny in terms of songwriting and rights and everything, I'm wondering if they're going to include some of the Vinny stuff, in the box set. So that's going to be something to see.
That is true.
Hopefully. Yeah. All right. So we get the show going, Pask?
Absolutely. And I think the obvious first question is, guys, what are your thoughts about Sonic Boom and Monster? We'll start with Sonic Boom. What are your thoughts on this album, Craig?
Sonic Boom, it's to me, I love it. I really like the idea of when they came out with this value package at Walmart, exactly. And mind you, could find it at $5 later on, but they have the DVD, they have the remixed and the album. I like that a lot. It was recorded in analog, which kind of like gave it that vintage Kiss sound. Mm-hmm. I think that was a good thing. And they used all vintage instruments also. Mm-hmm. So that definitely, vintage amps, vintage instruments, that helped a lot. It was produced by Paul and this guy named Greg Collins, who definitely was involved with U2 and No Doubt and stuff like that. Was a veteran, so that was good. And we get more songs from Tommy and Eric on this album, right? So we get two tunes that are really good, All for the Glory and Lightning Strikes. So those were great. It was a great tour, I found. Great mix of a set list, I found too. Different the way the band came up from behind the drums and came around with the Modern Day Delilah was good. And there was a song on there named Nobody's Perfect, which is a leftover from Asylum. I found it. So that Gene song, Nobody's Perfect.
Yeah, that was 85. That's right.
Yeah,
yes,
that
sir.
was a leftover from the Asylum recordings.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool. And listen, I really like it. There's a lot of good songs on there. Dangerous, Modern Day Delilah, Say Yeah, which is still in the set list today. They could have played one of my favorites is Stand, and I think that would have been a great song live. Mm-hmm. Whether they did it or not, I mean, me and Pask heard it in one time in rehearsal, and we flipped our minds saying they were going to play it, and they never did. But I think that would have been a great accompaniment for the album tour for sure. And then we saw a lot of TV appearances during that tour. That was. There was the Letterman, then there was the Jimmy Kimmel Live from Cobo Hall, and there were so many appearances by the band during that era, during that and Monster too, which really brought them back into the limelight, I found. Yeah.
Nice. Pat, what are your thoughts?
Sonic Boom, I think for me personally, it's hit and miss. There's some good stuff on there, like Craig said, the modern day Delilah, that's pretty good. I also like the Gene song, Hot and Cold.
Mhm.
That's pretty good. I like that. That sounds vintage because again, it was presented to us as this is going to be like it's gonna sound vintage, and I don't agree when they say that because they can't really make it vintage for many reasons. But that being said, I think the effort was there. It's not an album that I'll listen to very much because I played it a few times. It was like, and I tried to be very open with it, but for some reason I didn't really click with it.
Mhm.
It has its moments, but it's not a favorite.
Claudio?
I'm somewhere between Craig and Pat. So it is definitely not one of my favorites, but I like it. I really do. I revisit it, once in a while, and I like some of the songs. What I do like is that it was just the four of them playing, okay? And this is something that, we were maybe expecting that to happen with Psycho Circus, and then, after the fact, we knew that everybody was playing there instead of them. And I like it. I think it's honest. Okay, so this was Kiss in 2009, and as Craig said, a lot of media appearances. It was a good moment. I was really excited when it came out, and I like it that it went through Walmart, and there was a lot of merch, around the album. I really do like the remix of the classics, and I find also that the packaging and the DVD from Buenos Aires, it's a nice package. So we were not used to have that kind of stuff from Kiss. They could have done it with Psycho Circus, and they didn't. So I think it was a good momentum. I really look at that with. I have to say with pleasure, not one of my faves, but I really do. I really like it. What about you, Pasc?
I have a lot of nice memories surrounding this album. Craig, was it you and I that went to Plattsburgh?
Yeah.
We did, yeah. That was one of the memories, my time with Craig going to Plattsburgh, which I forgot for a second. And going to Walmart and seeing the merch. But in fact, at the Plattsburgh Walmart, they were supposed to have like a display with all the merch there, and they received it, but they had no big display. So everything was spread out. So we spent, I don't know, a couple of hours looking through the entire store. We found T-shirts in one area, the CD in another, the toys in another, the candy in another, But it was part of the hunt. It was fun, and it was building up the excitement of the album. And then listening to the album on the way back home at night, man, it was a high. And I remember thinking, Kiss is back in form, and and like Pat said, you can't bring back the vintage sound per se, but I think Sonic Boom was the closest thing to a 70s Kiss album than anything they've released in the 80s and 90s. As a matter of fact, I remember I was driving with a friend of mine who was not a Kiss fan. She heard of Kiss, obviously through me, but not a major Kiss fan. And I played Sonic Boom, and she, number one, loved the album because it had a classic feel to it. And I remember she loved songs like Stand, All for the Glory, When Lightning Strikes, And I go, yeah, these are, Say Yeah, some really classic songs. And then, like Craig said, the concert was amazing as well. And a lot of attention, again, like Craig was saying, was brought about because of this album. So yeah, again, a lot of very fond memories of the album. And it's up there with some of my favorites. Absolutely.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Good stuff. Yeah, I think we all agree that it was a very special moment for the band. I think they came up, they came back in full force, and I think the album, pays tribute to the effort that they put on in that era. So yeah, it's fun memories, as you said. So now if we move forward, 3 years, we go to 2012. Kiss releases Monster, and what are your thoughts about that? And which one do you prefer, and why? If we compare that to Sonic Boom, Craig.
Okay, here's where I'm going to probably differ from you guys. I found Monster not one of their better outings. I mean, there's some really good songs on there, such as Freak, Long Way Down, and one of them was the Castaway song that was the extra song was Right Here, Right Now, which I find is one of the strongest tracks.
Yeah.
Again, two more songs from Tommy and Eric, Out of This World and All for the Love of Rock and Roll, and I feel that those songs should still be in the set list today instead of them, kind of like copying Ace or Peter songs.
So
They were strong tunes, and to have their own identity kind of thing, right? There was various promos again on Letterman, and there was, I remember going over to Pask's place and watching on Letterman 11 o'clock at night, and we're falling asleep there, and they finally come on, and Paul's voice was horrible.
Yeah.
Remember that, Pask?
That was hard to
It was
watch.
it was like nails on a chalkboard. It was like, I think he needs a little bit of help there, But give him the A for the effort, But there wasn't as much for me. I don't find there was as much merch and hoopla for Monster as there was for Sonic Boom. I don't think that there was the same effort in merch and stuff like that. I mean, I know that it came out that special edition with the book and everything. That was nice too, but there wasn't anything, no Kiss surprise or whatever.
Which let me ask you, Craig, which cover you like best? It's Sonic Booms or Monster?
Good question. The one in the middle? No. I think I would say Monster. It was more,
okay.
Yeah. I think that album cover of Monster was better. I think they tried to copy Rock and Roll Over with Sonic Boom.
Sonic Boom, yeah.
But it didn't quite do it for me. It wasn't as good as the original.
Okay, Patrick, what do you have to say?
Monster, I think now people I may get some tomatoes thrown at me. I think was their best album since Lick It Up. Seriously, when I got it, I had zero expectations, and the moment I played it, I was like, okay, because I'm one of those fans who is not necessarily looking for the next Strutter or for the next Rock and Roll Night. A new album is a new album. They already did Strutter and Rock and Roll Night. I'm not expecting a new version of that. So therefore, the creativity appeared to be flowing. As I was saying earlier, they'd always say, oh, the next album is going to be a cross between Destroyer and Animalize. Like, no, don't do that. Just go in the studio. Whatever comes out, comes out. And I think that's what they did with Monster. And personally, I love the results. I was very, very happy. As a matter of fact, I played it this afternoon to get into the mood. And I was like, yeah, I still think
it is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Superior to Sonic Boom. Again, people may have different opinions and it's all good.
Of course.
But I think this time they really wanted to say we couldn't care less. It's going to stand out on its own. That's my take on it. And a great show as well. The stage show for that tour was just, again, they created something new within the Kiss formula, but they did something new with the stage. The stage was amazing. Yeah.
So, it could have been great that they played more songs, live.
Yeah.
From that record. But,
and I'm with Craig on that. They should have played the Tommy and Eric songs of that album are pretty good. And I wish they had played that instead of Shock Me and Beth, because I think those two songs are good enough on their own to be included in the set. I'm not against Tommy and Eric singing, but their own songs.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Ask.
I got to be honest. When I first heard the album, I was disappointed because I keep falling into that Kiss trap. Whenever Kiss comes up with an album, I'm thinking the next album will be very similar. They do something completely different. And with Monster, I found it was a little heavy for my taste. Again, I loved the sound and the songs of Sonic Boom. That was something I was playing Sonic Boom, I think, every day for a month in the car. And with Monster, I played it sporadically because I just find it difficult getting through the album as smoothly as I did with Sonic Boom. Again, I love the show though. The Monster show was just incredible. Yeah. But I didn't feel that Monster had the standout songs that Sonic Boom did, although I did love the Tommy and Eric songs. And I agree with Pat and Craig. With, Sonic Boom, I was hoping that finally they're doing new Kiss songs with Tommy and Eric. Now they have their own style. Then no one can say they're trying to copy Peter Erase. And they came out with their own songs. And I was really hoping that they would play it live, and they didn't. I was hoping that again for Monster, and they didn't. And I was really disappointed by that, because now they have their own voice, And I also understand that these are like typical, Catman, Spaceman songs that Paul or Gene wrote for them to fit in with the concept of the album. I get that, but I'd really wish that they played it live. So if you ask me which album I prefer, definitely, I gotta say definitely Sonic Boom over Monster.
Okay. Didn't they play on the cruise? They played that Tommy and Eric played their songs on the cruise set list, I think it was, right?
Yeah, I forget which ones, but yeah, it was played on the cruise.
It did sound well. I remember seeing the clips of that, and
oh yeah,
I think it would have fit in good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
Claudia, what do you think?
I think this also applies to Monster. I loved the fact that they were trying to find their own sound with Eric and Tommy, and I loved it. At the beginning, I thought that Monster was going to become like the son of Sonic Boom, but then with time, I found that it's just the opposite. To me, it's like Sonic Boom became the son of Monster. I like it better, Monster. For the same, maybe for the opposite reasons that you mentioned before, Pas. I find it's heavier and I like it more. The songs. I find that Sonic Boom has for me it has many ups and downs. There are some really good tunes and some that I skip, right away. But Monster, I find that it's more constant. Every song to me has something that it's catchy, that I don't skip it. When I listen to the album. And again, I think we mentioned this in some of the other episodes. My only problem with Monster is the sound. It's something that it's called brick wall. That if you run through an equalizer, you're gonna find that if you play it at a very high volume, your ears is gonna start ringing.
Right,
so I don't know why. There's some technical stuff out there. There's no space in between. The instruments, but I love it. I really like it. And I don't know if you guys, of course, that maybe it's the time to remind everybody. When they opened the tour in South America, and they did play 3 or 4 songs live, but then they dropped it, right away because Paul couldn't sing it. Yeah. So they, I remember in Buenos Aires they played Wall of Sound. Of course, they played Hell or Hallelujah. But they also played a Long Way Down, and if you're able to see that on YouTube, it's not good. So they were not sounding really good live, so Paul couldn't take it. But I really love I love the album. I like the cover, and I like the art that comes with it, and I'm going to tell you something that now there's going to be people throwing tomatoes to me. If I think that if Bob Ezrin could have produced this album, it could be at the same level as Revenge. That's for sure. Because I don't know why.
Has the potential.
To me, there are some songs that sound so much. Of course, Bruce Kulick is not Tommy Thayer, but if we had the help of Bob there, I think this album good rank, pair to pair with Revenge. That's for sure. That's my take.
Interesting.
Okay, so I want to ask you guys a question before I get to the next question. How do you feel about Monster being the last Kiss album? Back to you, Claudio. Monster as the last Kiss album. Are you okay with that?
No, I'm not okay with that. No, even though I like it, I would really love, the last album to sound differently with another producer, with an outside producer.
Right. Okay. Craig?
Yeah, I agree with Claudio on that one. For me, the last Kiss album would be a double album, would be definitely all contributions from all members, and definitely with something that would say, okay, well, this is closing the book. Yeah, I think Monster left that door open a little bit, even though they don't want to make new music, which we'll get into the next question, I believe. But I think that they need to go with a bang, like they did with Psycho Circus, which could have very well have been a double album.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of demos out there, and
Yeah.
I think that they had a lot more to give. But I don't know what it is, but bands don't want to give double albums anymore.
Right.
But that's just my take on it. Yeah.
Pat, what do you think?
If Monster is going to be the Last Kiss record, I can live with that, because, as I said, I think it's pretty good. Now, yeah, I love the idea of, I think Craig saying that maybe a new album with contributions of all members, former and current, would be nice as well. I don't know if we can expect that, but it's a nice concept that I would like to see happen.
Yeah.
For sure. If that were going to be the Last Kiss record, then yes, I'm all for it.
Right.
You, Pask, how do you feel about having Monster as the last Kiss record?
The End of the Road tour is wrapping up the era that is Kiss. They need to do the same thing musically with one final album. I think Monster is like watching a TV series that you really like without a good finale. It's just leaving us hanging.
Mhm.
We need some kind of farewell, tribute to the fans, tribute to us, tribute to our legacy album.
Mhm.
And forget about concept and musical styles. Put a mishmash, whatever Paul wants to sing, whatever Gene wants to sing, Tommy, Eric, heck, let's throw Ace and Peter in there. Let's throw Bruce in there. It would be amazing to give us a farewell.
Yeah.
And it's really a shame that Monster is the final album. Now, so far in this episode, I'm keeping track. We've got tomatoes being thrown at Pat and Claudio.
Yeah, me too.
I'm next.
And rocks thrown at me.
You're
And
next.
rocks thrown at me. So I'm next. I'm going to say, if we're going to have a final album, why not switch Monster with Sonic Boom? I'd rather have Sonic Boom. Oh, I'm going to get it for this one.
There goes the tomatoes.
There goes the
There
tomato.
goes the
I'd
It's
rather
cabbage.
I'd rather have Sonic Boom as the final album than Monster. Tomatoes, let's go.
No, I think it's a valid point still.
Of course.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no right or wrong. I think, as I said, if it would have been Sonic Boom, I would have been like, okay, if Asylum or Crease Nights would have been the final Kiss album, then yes, I would say no. I have a problem with that. But, I prefer Sonic Boom over any of those albums. So
Yeah.
I would have been
Yeah.
okay.
Same here. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So we have to find a question so that people throw tomatoes to Craig now.
Oh, we're
You're
still
holding for the bigger ammunition for me.
The episode is young still.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all know that Paul is not interested in releasing new music. And what do you think that is? I mean, he has no problem releasing new Kiss music. I mean, he released Soul Station. Why not Kiss? Craig, we'll start with you.
Here's when they're going to throw apples at me, I guess. I don't think I'm going to go off the cuff here. I just think that they're lazy. I think they don't want to learn anything new. I think they just want to live off their legacy. They just want to ride off into the sunset. They've had so much issues before making albums with different personalities and different people, and they all have other interests. And to write another album, I think it's cumbersome for them. I think that also many times Gene has said that rock and roll is dead. There's no money in the business and all that, right? They have many new projects too, right? I think they make more money on reissuing old stuff, living off that legacy. I think that's where they think that the money is, and whether they'll do something new or it all depends on how much the fans pressure them, I guess. or they get that $1 million contract to do it. I really do think that, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I think that they've become complacent.
Pat?
I think it's probably because they don't have anything left to say, or like Craig said, they probably no longer have the motivation of doing it.
Yeah.
Probably they're gonna say, well, we've been there. What more can we say, or what better idea can we have? I don't think their minds are really there, and there's no appeal to them, or there's no challenge. There's nothing that appeals to them of doing it. So I don't think, no, we're not going to see another album for sure, because probably also the music business has changed. I mean, we got to be realistic. It costs money to make an album. Are they able to recoup with the sales that they make? I doubt it. So they probably don't see the point.
Mm-hmm. Claudio?
I'm thinking of the question, right? So you asked about Paul, basically Paul, okay? Mm-hmm. Because he was very open, and he was the one, saying that he's not interested, no new music. People want to still listen to the old stuff, blah, blah, blah. I think, this is my take, I think that Gene will go for it, even though he says that rock and roll is dead and there's no business out there. They're going to still make a lot of money, doing another, if they were to do another tour, just to play the new album. But to me, the motivation and the creativity with Paul is gone. Or maybe he wants to put it somewhere else. Maybe he wants to put it on Soul Station. To me, it's really sad, because I was really hoping, and I would love to listen to new music from them. Look at the reaction we all had with Soul Station. So we're not Motown guys. We're not. This is not our preferred type of music. But because Paul was there, we were all into it. So imagine what was going to happen if Kiss were to release a new album. Again, I'm with the guys. So to me, motivation is gone. They're going through the motions now, a little bit of laziness. I think that both Eric and Tommy, they still have a lot to say musically with Kiss. Gene, if you push the envelope, Jill will deliver. But the soul of Kiss is Paul, and if Paul is not there, forget it. My only take on this also, and I'm going to wrap it up. I think that the condition that Paul put there is that it's okay to have a new album only if he's the producer, and I don't think that's right. I think they need someone, if they really want to come up with a new album, they need someone from the outside, pushing them to deliver, and not being, lazy and do the things that they are used to do. So, yeah.
Well, for me, lazy isn't a word I would use to describe Kiss. Considering how hard they work and putting on 50 pounds of costume to go up on stage at 70 years old. They're hardworking guys.
But I mean, writing.
Oh yeah.
Writing.
That's what I meant too. I didn't mean.
Yeah. Unmotivated, bored, because like Pat said, or somebody said, been there, done that, and that's obvious with Paul, because with Soul Station, if you listen to the album, you could hear the passion in his voice and how much he enjoyed doing that album. It brought back some creative excitement back in him with that album. And, Gene saying rock and roll is dead, it doesn't sell albums. Number one, Paul still did Soul Station knowing that it probably wouldn't sell, and it didn't sell very well. He didn't care. It was another creative outlet for him. And second, look at the new album from Ghost. First of all, an amazing album, a huge seller, and now they're going out on tour, and you could feel the excitement of those guys going out. Rock and roll is not even close to being dead. It's different, but not dead. But I agree with you, Claudio. Paul is the soul, and if he didn't want to do it, it wouldn't work. And I also agree that they're definitely, if there's a new album, Paul shouldn't produce it. He did a fine job with the Monster and Sonic Boom, but it should be an outside producer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Well, that was interesting. That was cool. You know, a lot of meat to cut. So now, if this is a good one. So we've all heard Phantoms, okay, by Classic 78, and we love it. So fans around the world are loving it. You know, they released a CD and everything. Things are going great with them. So, do you think that it would have worked if Kiss released a similar album to Classic 78? Craig?
Yeah, I think that definitely diehards would eat it up. Definitely, they're craving for that vintage sound and that flashback memories, you want to call it. Definitely the vibe. I mean, that song, "Show Me Your Love," the first song, I play that song over and over and over and over. And there's a lot of other songs when you start hearing the song. Oh, that's so and so song. Oh, it's in that vibe of a certain Kiss song, right? I think that it's very Kiss-like. It's very, if they would have put out something like that, I think, like we were saying, would that be a great last album? Yeah, I think it would. I think it would be a good farewell. Yeah.
Okay. Pat, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I only heard it once, but I was like, wow, this could have easily been the album after Love Gun. Those guys were very good at recreating the vibe. It's surprising. That's no easy feat, and they managed to do it. So I think, kudos to them for doing that. And if Kiss could release an album like that, it would be something else for sure. Because again, you fell back if you were like in 1978.
Yeah.
All over again. Imagine if they would have released something in that vein instead of the solo albums or Dynasty. Wow. How history would have been different.
But do you still think that in 2022 or 12, it could have worked?
Again, it all goes back to people like us.
Yeah. Okay.
Not for the masses.
Yeah.
For people like us. We got to keep in mind that, for many years, as I had said in a previous episode, during the lean years, many people were like, "Oh, Kiss, yeah, they're no longer together, are they?" Only people,
yeah.
The fan base like us, the hardcores, the diehards knew what was going on. But outside of that, to many people, Kiss was dead. So, if that album would have been popular today, released, I don't think so. It would only again work for the hardcore fans.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Pasc, what do you think?
I think it's tomato time again. Because I don't think, because the question is, would it have worked if Kiss released an album similar to Classic 78? The answer for me is no, because what Classic 78 did was basically, it was ingenious to try to recreate the Kiss sound by taking already existing licks and turning it around a little bit, making slight changes, and then basically adding lyrics to it. Or taking a particular solo, slight changes to it, and adding lyrics to it. Like Craig was saying, each and every one of their songs you could tie into a specific Kiss song. Now, what do you think Kiss fans would say if Kiss released an album just like that? Oh, this sounds like this. This sounds like this. This sounds like this. This sounds like that. Mm-hmm. We're not really getting a new album.
They're trying to copy Ace and Peter.
But that's even if Ace and Peter did that back in the 70s after Love Gun. That's one thing. And forget about it if Eric and Tommy did that now. Just another example of, the imposters and copying Kiss. I don't believe it would have worked. I don't think the fans would have liked it. I think Phantoms worked because a group of really talented musicians did something creative, and it reminds us of the band that we love so much. But not if the band that we love so much did the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Good point.
Well, it's tomato time for me too, because I concur 100% with you, Pat. So you couldn't have said it better. You nailed it there. I think the same. To me, it's it's genius, you know, what Phantoms did with Classic 78, the guys. But 2022 or even 2012, let's say that we replace Monster by kind of a Phantoms album, okay? I don't think it would have worked for different reasons. So these guys, I don't think that Gene and Paul, Eric and Tommy, they can recreate that sound anymore. We have to remember that the tandem for Kiss, which made them very successful, was the two guitars, you know, Paul and Ace playing in a very unique way. That's what actually created the Kiss sound. You can hear the bass, you know, in the bottom with Peter not doing many great things, but the guitars, man, that's what the guys from Classic 78, they nailed it. And I don't think that Paul and Tommy, they can recreate that sound. And I don't think it would have worked during these times. I think with Sonic Boom and Monster, they try to go back to the roots with a current sound, you know, the spirit, but with a current sound. Mm-hmm. But you know, again, what Classic 78 does and did, it's absolutely awesome because it takes you back to the 70s as if you were there, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to go back to Sonic Boom and Monster for a minute. So again, Paul said that there is no point in releasing new music, right? Fans just want to hear the classics. So 2 questions. First question, do you believe that's true, that fans just want to hear the classics? Considering that at the latest shows, whenever you hear Say Yeah, the energy level just drops. Is Paul right? Craig?
I think for the casual fan, yes. I think for the band, the guys that just go there to know the main songs, yeah. But for diehards, no. I mean, we always talk about that why don't they play this? Why don't they play that? And I get why they don't, and I get why they don't. That makes sense. But you know what I'm saying? But we need new songs and new directions to make things fresh again. It's a double-edged sword, right? If they're going to go out there and play all B-sides, no one's going to buy tickets but diehards. If they go there and play all the popular songs, then they're going to get a mix of both. So I think to appease us, once in a while, they throw in a carrot there and they play King of the Nighttime Roar, although they play a different song, I Stole Your Love or something like that, just to appease the diehards.
Or you go to the cruise.
Yeah, or you go to the cruise. But even now, the cruises is not as different as it was in the beginning, right? I mean, the beginning was like, oh my God, they're playing Getaway, they're playing this, they're playing that. Yeah. Now it's just like maybe 1 or 2 songs, where before it was like half of the concert was new stuff.
Yeah.
But songs that would be live, I think Hallelujah, definitely, like Pat said before, that's an awesome song. Say Yeah, even though the energy level drops on that song, I still think it's okay live. Modern Day Delilah, I think definitely those 2 songs by Eric and Tommy should be explored more and able to showcase themselves. And that, like I said, Stand Before for me, and probably Raise Your Glasses, stuff like that would be a great song. But that's not on there. But I'm putting that in there as a PS.
Pat, what do you think?
Unfortunately, I have to agree with Paul on that one. It is true that whenever they play something that is not too well known, people are, they're going to go, okay, what's this? People are going to look at each other and it's like, I don't know that song.
But don't you think that, sorry to interrupt, but don't you think that people do the same when they play 100,000 Years?
I know I do. Sorry.
No, we don't. We, the diehard, know, but the casual fans, they don't know that song.
Yeah, we always have to keep in mind that the majority that goes to see Kiss or any other band for that matter, they're casual fans. Yeah. So they won't be too pleased if they hear many songs that they don't know. Having said that, I think, like for the Monster tour, even End of the Road, they could have still played Modern Day Delilah. I think that's awesome. Yeah. One song I would have liked them to do live, which they certainly won't do, it's Eat Your Heart Out, Baby. I would have loved to hear that. But again, you're going to have the people looking at each other, and they're going to sit down, or it's beer time or whatever. So it's really, it's probably not easy for them to make set lists. And Paul, when he says, if we play a new song, people are going to say, that's great, now play Love Gun. I remember that quote.
Yeah.
And I think he's right, unfortunately.
You gotta
So
look
I
at his
think all
vocal
those
range
reasons-
too, guys. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we gotta
What's
look
that?
at his vocal range too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he can't do some of those songs that
Yeah.
that he used to do.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it's really, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes, because you're always going to have those people or go, well, they didn't play this, they didn't play that, that's too bad. They should, revamp the set, but it's limited what they can do. Really is. So I guess Paul is right.
All right, Claudia.
I do not agree with Paul, and I think he's mixing things on purpose. He's saying that there's no point in releasing new music versus playing those songs live. Okay, so he's saying, why releasing new music if we're not going to play it live? Because people they still want to listen to Love Gun, Shout It Out Loud, Detroit Rock City, and blah blah blah. So, but they could put a couple of new songs here and there, and the show will still be great. I don't see people out of the, I don't know how many songs are playing now. Let's say 2021. Okay, I don't think that people are going crazy with all 21 songs during the show. There's low parts of the show where kind of say yeah, or some of the other stuff. But just to make the diehard fans, happy, why not put in one or two songs? I couldn't go, all the way to, let's say, what sometimes Iron Maiden does, so that they play the whole album.
Yeah.
I couldn't go that far, but I think it will not hurt. It's gonna be like a well-deserved for all of us, for diehard, to listen to a couple of new songs in the set list. Now, again, to me, it all comes back to the same reason why they are not putting up a new record. It's unmotivated, as you said before. They became bored. They go through the motions. They put up a great show, don't get me wrong, but they play the songs with their eyes closed already. So it's why the challenge? They get something that works, that makes a lot of money. Let's go with that. Why the challenge?
Yeah.
That, to me, that's the reason. And again, I think the guys, they already answered it, but I would have loved to keep seeing Modern Day Delilah in the set list. Never Enough and Stand from Sonic Boom, and from Monster. I would love to keep listening to Hell or Hallelujah, or even Back to the Stone Age from Gene, which is awesome, and Shout Mercy. Of course, maybe Paul, he's not going to be able to sing it live, or Long Way Down, but I would love to see those songs in the set list.
Yeah, I agree.
Tusk, what about you?
I think Paul is right, but for the wrong reasons. Because listen, look at Sonic Boom. Psycho Circus, the song Psycho Circus. It is a staple in Kiss concerts now. It's a new song. A lot of casual fans may not know Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
But why does it work so well in concerts? Because it fits in with the concept of a Kiss concert, right? So I think that if Kiss was able to incorporate new songs into the concept of a concert, give it some kind of effect or something, I think fans would eat it up. The casual fan does not go, in my opinion, the casual fan does not go to a Kiss concert for the music necessarily. The music is the soundtrack to the show. They want to see the spectacle. When they're shouting and jumping up and down, it's not for the music. It's for the explosions and the effects and Gene flying and the blood. It's all of that. If they could incorporate new songs into that concept, I think fans would get excited. And then they would relate the songs to that concept and enjoy that song even more when they hear it on the radio. I think that would be the challenge for the band.
You're right. You're so right. You're yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like a lot of the songs are like showcase songs, right? So 100,000 years is a chance for Paul to do that screaming and yelling and the flames going off and everything, right? Whereas Gene, it's the God of Thunder, and Tommy and Eric, it's the other ones, right? It's all about choreography, and that's basically what you're saying, Pascal. It's like you can incorporate a new song, but let's say you put, I don't know, I'm an Animal in there, which is lousy live, but it's a great song studio. But if you put that in there and you maybe put it to a different twist where Gene does something different, it's now a part of the show, like you said.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Very good point. Very good point. Yeah.
So Claudio and Craig, you've already answered my second question. Which songs from Sonic Boom and Monster would you want to hear live? Haven't heard from Pat about that. What do you think?
Which songs from those two albums? Like I said, Eat Your Heart Out. I think that's I really love it. The Eric and Tommy songs from Monster, Modern Day Delilah, Hot and Cold, and Stan, I think, is a great song as well.
Yeah.
So I think those would be the ones I would, especially Hot and Cold. It does have that vintage feel. I always thought Hot and Cold had that sort of Dr. Feelgood. What am I saying? Dr. Love.
Right.
Yeah.
Feel to it. It's very vintage. I thought that could have been on Rock and Roll Over. So I would bring that.
Or Love Gun, right? Or fit into the Love Gun album. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
That would fit into the show, I think.
Yeah.
And even like for the Tommy and Eric songs, it could have been a great opportunity, like for Tommy to have a solo.
Yeah.
To have a guitar solo. I mean, they put guitar solo, their drum solos. I'm not a big fan of those, but for the visual element of it, it could have been a good idea.
Okay. For me, from Sonic Boom, I would say Modern Day Delilah, which they played already. Stand, again, because Craig and I heard that song at a sound check. It's like, they're going to play it tonight. And they didn't. But that would have been
not a chance.
Yeah, not a chance. All for the Glory, When Lightning Strikes, and Say Yeah. I love Say Yeah live. Again, there's no concept behind that song. If there was, it would be hugely popular, I believe.
Yeah.
From Monster, I enjoyed Hello Hallelujah. Wall of Sound, I would love to hear. Freak, Out of This World, All for the Love of Rock and Roll. And Right Here, Right Now. Craig said it before, an amazing song from Monster. I think one of the best from Monster. It shouldn't have been a bonus. It should have been part of the original album, Fantastic song.
So, Pas, you're putting more songs from Monster than Sonic Boom Live. So that means that you like it better.
You noticed that, huh? You noticed that. No, wrong. I put it, it's equal. I just added the bonus song to the Monster.
Okay.
There you go.
Doesn't count.
Hold off the tomatoes. Hold off the tomatoes, folks.
All right. So, okay. And we're getting to the best part of the show now, the best part of this episode. So before we began recording this episode, so you were, all of us were given a short assignment, okay, homework to do. So if you can create a Kiss album with already existing demos, which 10 songs would you choose for that dream album?
Now, also, none of us talked amongst each other. This is the first time we're going to hear this list, right?
Good point. So, Mr. Craig Patton, what can you say now?
Okay, now don't throw chestnuts at me. So this was a very hard assignment. It was a book report, and hopefully I'll get a gold star on this one.
We have a teacher here amongst us, so that's why, it's, oh my goodness, this guy.
Okay, so I have 11, not 10, because I couldn't decide the 10.
Okay, you're allowed to
can't follow directions. Go.
It's a bonus track.
Nice.
So the first one I had was Only You, but it was the version on the vault. It was more Eskimo Sunish.
Yep.
Okay, I found that one a little bit more edgy.
Did you go? Let me ask you something. Yeah. Did you go chronologically by ear or?
No, I just did it by.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had another one called Street Legal by Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Sword and Stone, definitely. Paul
Yeah.
Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
There was a version of Not for the Innocent with Stanley and Simmons sharing the vocals.
Yes, sir.
That was outstanding.
Oh, yes.
That was outstanding. Rule the World, which had a kind of like a Beatles sound to it. That was from Gene. It's My Life, which we heard at the Gene Simmons solo, which is really a good tune. I Want to Rule the World, Simmons. Time Traveler. I Am Yours. It's a takeoff of the Psycho Circus album.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't That Particular, Eric Carr.
Wow.
And Shocker was the last one for me.
Okay.
That was the bonus track. That was the what do you call it? The European version of the album. That was the bonus track. But it was a very hard assignment to do. Listen, as you saw, Gene's my favorite, and most of the songs are from Gene. But there was some other stuff too, but it wasn't, how can I say, the sound quality wasn't that great, so you can't really get the full value of the song.
Yeah.
If it was remixed and redone, would probably maybe hit the list.
Could be different.
But those are mine, and I'm sticking with it.
There you go. Patrick?
For myself, yeah. I mean, I tried to stay vintage, but it was hard. I tried to make it as consistent as I could. The first one was Life in the Woods, You're Much Too Young. I mean, we don't really have that on an album, so that would have been nice. Strutter, but the long version, the
Love
demo,
that version.
you know, at the end, it stretches a bit, kind of like, I don't know, Hey Jude from the Beatles.
Eddie Kramer. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Don't You Hesitate, which is already on the box set. Mad Dog, I think that's a cool song. Mad Dog, I like the hook of it. I also like Ain't None of Your Business, which is now on the Destroyer box set. I like Rumble, the song that Peter had recorded for Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of stretches a bit, it gets repetitive, but maybe like a little bit of work. They could do something with that. I really like the hook. Also, Don't Run, which is the original version of Dark Light.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Back on the Streets with the Paul vocals. We haven't heard it, but that's something I want to hear. That's something not for the innocent, like you said, Craig, with Paul singing. And the last one, which is like skips 10 years, Do You Want to Touch Me Now? The song that Paul had supposedly written with Snake Sabo. Never heard it, but I'm very curious to hear it.
Okay.
So those are my
Okay.
10 songs.
Nice.
Oh, there's
Very
some commonalities there, and this is really interesting. So,
Mhm.
Pask, what about you, my friend?
Okay, so I sort of went with the idea that this is a new Kiss album. So Peter and Ace are not in the band, so I didn't choose any Peter and Ace songs. That's number one.
Okay. Okay.
Number two, I didn't go in chronological order, but I tried to give the album a form of some kind of concept where there's a beginning, middle, and an end with the songs that I chose. So the first song is like, okay, there's a new Kiss album out, guys. The first song, Are You Ready? By Gene Simmons from The Vault. And he played that in Quebec a few years ago live. Fantastic song.
Nice.
And I think a great start to the album. One of my favorite Kiss songs that's never been a Kiss song, A Commonality, Sword and Stone from Paul. Fantastic song. There's various versions of that song by other artists, and I don't think there's one version I don't like. My favorite Kiss song is Detroit Rock City. It's up there with Sword and Stone. Or Sword and Stone, Detroit Rock City, my absolute favorite Kiss songs. Now, number three, I wouldn't have chosen this song, Love is Blind. The reason I chose it is because I heard the version from Shameless. I don't know if you guys heard that.
No.
It was recently premiered on Three Sides. Wow, they did a fantastic version of that song. Destroys the Gene version, and the Shameless version kind of showed what the song could have been. And it made me think, listening to The Vault, how many other Gene songs could have been equally as amazing if it had that production and the creativity behind it. Number four, another Paul song that I love, Time Traveler. I believe that's also on the box set, right? On the fantastic song. Don't Let Go. You know, I'm sorry, guys. I felt that this album needed a ballad. So
That's okay.
I put a Paul Stanley ballad, Don't Let Go. And you know, again, people may not like this, but I wish that Sonic Boom and maybe Monster as well had a ballad. Not a Peter Chrissy type ballad, but a Paul Stanley Forever type ballad.
Mm-hmm.
Another commonality, number 6, It's My Life. Love that song.
Yep.
Although I heard another version, a better version than the one we heard on the box set.
Yeah, there's always that gem somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 7, Body and Soul by Paul. Love that song. From the box set, Rain Keeps Falling, the Gene Simmons Vault. Love that song. One of my favorites from the box set, Everybody Knows. I don't know if you guys heard that.
No.
What an amazing hook that song has. It's just love it. That's one of the songs I replayed over and over again when I was listening to the box set. Incredible. And I found it fitting that, you know, these songs are you know, I imagine them being modernized to today's music, but I want to end it with something a little bit more vintage. And this is another commonality, the Gene and Paul version of Not for the Innocent.
Okay.
To end the album.
Wow.
And that's my new Kiss album.
Love it. I love it. Okay, my turn now. So I went in chronological order because I think that basically gives any person who doesn't know what Kiss is, you know, kind of the flow and how the band was growing and evolving. So I'm going to start off with Strutter, you know, the demo version, 1973 with Eddie Kramer. Fantastic, you know, a longer Ace playing a solo, which is that's really rocky, you know, nothing compared to what we've seen on the Kiss album. Then I'm going to go with Ain't None of Your Business, you know, 75, the demo that it was used then as part of the Destroyer making. Don't You Hesitate, another commonality with Craig, I guess. I love Reputation from Gene, 1978. That was around, you know, the Love Gun, you know, and his solo era. I really love the demo for Nowhere to Run. I love that song, and the demo is really fantastic. It's My Life, another commonality with you guys. Then there's another song from '83 from Gene. I also have a lot of Gene songs now, I realize. So Many Girls, So Little Time. Amazing song, really catchy. Then I have, we talked about that before, from 1985, from the Asylum era. I have Nobody's Perfect, that made it all the way to Sonic Boom. Then Time Traveler, like the same as you guys. And just to give it a nice closure, you know, and making no celebration for Eric Carr's contribution to the band, Ain't That Peculiar. I'm going to close it up with that one. So that's my album now. There you go. We got it. Did we approve, teacher? Did we pass?
100%, guys. 100%. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Love the
100% ever.
Yeah. You know, guys, we're about to close up the show, and this was a really interesting episode, I think, for me and for us. Interesting discussion, and you know, looking back and at the Kiss's musical career, and looking forward to maybe one more album. Just really, I think, whet our appetites in terms of wishing and hoping that it would happen. It won't, but you never know. You never know. So great discussion, guys. Thank you so much. Love your selections of, you know, Monster, Sonic Boom, live songs. Love your new Kiss albums using demos. Some great ideas, some great commonalities, and you know, a lot of us have a lot of things in common because we're Kiss fans, and you know, we understand the band, we understand the history, And we just, it's interesting getting everybody's perspective, regardless of our shared history and our shared experiences with the band. So guys, again, thank you so much for this.
I have to second Pasco on that. Thank you, Craig and Pat. It's always a pleasure. It's interesting how we are used to agree and disagree, with respect. So, the opinions of Sonic Boom and Monster, which are two, I would say, albums that bring a lot of, noise, amongst diehard because of, different lineup and Tommy and Eric and blah, blah, blah. But I think they have to be treated with respect. It's part of the Kiss story, and Kiss would not be the same without those two albums. So I'm really happy that we had the chance to discuss those and have your opinions. Once again, thank you guys. You make this show greater than ever. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us. Real pleasure.
Any closing remarks, guys? Craig, Pat, feel free.
No, this was a great assignment. That's all I can say.
First time you ever said that.
First 100. Yay!
We passed. But you got something to say?
Always love discussing in this formula. I really love it. It's always fun. We get, like you said, Claudio, we get to voice our opinions, and even though we don't always agree, it's always fun to always enjoy listening to other people's opinions. Maybe it helps me see things in a different way. So it's always good. I love it.
Exactly.
Great. Thank you. And speaking of opinions and getting feedback from everybody, so we are so happy to announce that we actually registered our domain name. So there's KissArmyNationPodcast.com, KissArmyNationPodcast.com. It's been registered, so we're going to have the website up and running really soon. Please get involved and send your comments, questions, ideas, even ideas for discussion panels. Send us your email to talktome@KissArmyNationPodcast.com. Again, talk to me. Sounds familiar, right? Talk to me at KissArmyNationPodcast.com. So we're really looking forward to getting your comments, guys, and we're going to reply right away. And we're expecting that you contribute to make this show and this podcast, better and better every day. Pass on to you.
We could take this opportunity to tell our listeners, use our new email address and let us know what you think. What do you think about Monster and Sonic Boom? Which one do you prefer? Which songs should go live from Sonic Boom and Monster? And can you come up with your own new Kiss album using 10 unreleased demos? We'd love to hear from you. You could post on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and now our new email. And like Claudio said, we're gonna respond as quickly as we can. And if you have any ideas for further topics, please let us know. If you want to nominate somebody, a fan, for our fan profile episodes, please nominate somebody. If you have any ideas for other guests that we could interview, concepts that we could do for Kiss Army Nation podcast specials, please let us know. This is your show. It's about you. Let's make it about you. We'd love to hear from you. And speaking of the Kiss Army, we want to thank you once again for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And remember, everyone, never stop rocking. Take care.
Ciao. Take care. Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe on YouTube or follow us on Spotify, Automatic, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to make yourself heard. Leave us a comment on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. See you all soon, Kiss Army.